Hi, welcome to Finding the Word. It's Melanie Brown, and the word is decision. It is really a part two to the last word, which was share. I was telling you about a lady, a really nice lady who gave me this card. I still have it here on my desk, and it was such a blessing. And she just shares. She shares with anyone who comes the good news of Christ and gets those cards printed up. And so it was really motivating to me to take a look at how do I share? And am I obedient in sharing the good news with others? But then there was another part about it because I was on the phone at the time with my good friend Tia. You may remember Tia because we did a couple of words together early February. We were talking, so she heard the whole conversation I had with this lady and the cookie she gave me in the card. And I was telling Tia about it. So when I got, though, back in the car and I said, I wonder if I should share with her about finding the word, like she shared with me. And Tia was like, Mel, that's a good idea. Yes, you should. Well, I immediately started talking myself out of it. I was like, she has these cards. I am sure she is in the word herself already every day. She probably does not care anything, And so Tia's like, Mel, I have to tell you, that is not right. So then I was like, wait, what? She was like, I don't think that's right. It's wrong for you to make the decision for someone else about what they would or would not want to do or hear. You're making the decision for her as to whether she would want to have interest in finding the word. And that's not right. That's her decision to make. Woo. That was truth when I heard it. It was absolutely true. I couldn't really say anything, but you're right. Well, I had to look up decision because that really stood out. And it took me to Matthew chapter 18. And it's verse 17. I'm going to read from 15 through 20. If another believer sins against you, go privately and point out the offense. If the other person listens and confesses it, you have won that person back. But if you are unsuccessful, then take one or two others with you and go back again, so that everything you say may be confirmed by 2 or 3 witnesses. If the person still refuses to listen, then take your case to the church. Then, if he or she won't accept the church's decision, treat that person as a pagan or a corrupt tax collector. I tell you the truth, whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. I also tell you this, if 2 of you agree here on earth concerning anything you ask, my Father in heaven will do it for you. For where 2 or 3 gather together in my name as my followers, I am there among them. This is about going to one another when there is an issue. This is about how to handle these things when there's offense. This is saying if another believer sins against you. So you have issue, and if you are attending any place, if you are taking part in any services, if you're part of congregations, anywhere you are dealing with others, there can be opportunity for there to be an offense. Most of the time, people are not aware, but someone can end up offended. But what do? Most of the time, we are running around getting the opinions of others and having a whole lot of conversations about what happened and how they did this and that and what wasn't right about it, and well before we go to one another. This does not say anything about running around talking about it first. Go privately and point out the offense. Now, there's times, of course, you may really want some godly counsel about it. You may want a perspective and things, and God knows our hearts on that. It's not always gossip to have a conversation or get some assistance. But if you're telling people that don't need to be told, if you're not looking for help, you're just looking to spread things, that is different. That is not what it's saying here. You go privately and point out the offense. If that person listens, great. But step 2, they didn't listen, they didn't appreciate it, it got ugly. Now you're supposed to bring 2 or 3 people back with you, because then they can confirm. You got witnesses. They can say, no, that they did not say it like that, because we know we can be having conversations with people, and it always comes down to, well, you said such and such, and then they said, I did not say that. That is not what I said. And you're like, that exactly what you said. And this happens more often than not. And so this is where the wisdom comes in, where 2 or 3 witnesses are there to be able to say, you are exaggerating. That is not exactly what was said. And it is needed. Now, you go on to part 3 here. They still refuse to listen. You go to the church. And then if they do not accept the church's decision, this person is treated as a pagan, as a corrupt tax collector. The tax collectors were not appreciated at all. They couldn't stand them. This is because it states that they were harsh, they were greedy, and deceptive. So this is the category that you didn't really want to be in. And this is where the status is when people refuse to work things out, don't want to hear anything anybody has to say about it, and will not even accept the church's decision. Now, the next few verses are so powerful. I don't know if we are sleeping on this. I feel like we might be sleeping on this. It's important to point out because this is saying that whatever is forbidden on earth is forbidden in heaven, and what is permitted on earth is permitted in heaven. But it's telling us that if 2 agree here on earth concerning anything, it says, that we ask, that our Father in heaven will do it. Are we sleeping on this? Because I'm telling you, I'm just like, wait a minute now. There are some things, courage and more faith and trust. And I'm looking for ways to do better, to step up and help others and improve. And we're talking about anything we ask. Now, the key, though, is in verse 20, because where 2 or 3 are gathered together as my followers, or where they're gathered together in my name. So this is the thing. If we're gathering together in the name of Jesus Christ, the things that we are asking for are not going to be out of greed, out of puffing ourselves up, out of vanity, out of fleshly desires. We're gathering together in the name of Christ. We're gathering together as his followers. So the concern is outside of what is our interest. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be about ways that we can help one another. It's going to be about ways that we can lift one another up and be used by God. It's going to have an impact. That is the type of thing that's going to result in blessing others that we are asking for. But it is important to note that anything we ask, when we are gathered together as believers, the Father in heaven will do it for us. We need to take note of that. That is extremely powerful. Now, I marched myself right back out of that car, opened the door, because I said, well, Tia, that is the truth. I should absolutely not have made a decision for her. So I need to let her make the decision herself. And I went on in there and she was like, well, let me see. And so her husband pulls up her phone. She told him where to go, told her the things. And she told her husband to pull it up. He had his phone. He saw it and she said, okay, send it to me. And she was receptive to be able to see or hear the word, or it could be blessing to her. I don't know. But it was about being obedient in that moment. Now I am taking that with me into many other areas. That statement made a change for me in my perspective, in the way that I view all the things that I am asked to do, or that comes to mind, because that was something that came to mind and that the Spirit brought to me as a thought. Sometimes we could think, okay, we're thinking something or we're saying something, and then we just kind of dismiss it. But the Spirit is speaking to our heart. A lot of the time, He's giving us a prompting. It's a little nudge about something, and we then can talk ourselves out of it, or we can go ahead and say, nah, because of this or that. And if I'm doing that, it's wrong. I can hear Tia's voice now. That's wrong, Mel. Let them make the decision. So we need to be careful when we're asked to do something involving anyone else that we are kind of apprehensive about. We need to be listening for the Spirit, but we also need to be very careful that we are allowing people to make their own decision, that we are just willing to be used, but allow the decision about that choice to be made by the person that we're bringing it to, and not for us to make that decision out of assumptions that we are making. Don't forget to find the word. I will see you soon.